Hello everyone, welcome back to yet another political episode. We are back today and we are taking a look at the state of Vermont. And boy, this is insane, guys. Vermont. And I never knew we would have so much emphasis on a county. But we're taking a look at this county right here because, boy, we were expecting the results to look some sort of like this. Our prediction came out to be a Kamala Harris sweep with a respectable 70%. That was what the polls were saying. That was what the average was saying. Because the theory was Kamala Harris was going to unite the progressive vote. She was going to unite the progressive vote, similar to what Obama did in 2008 and 2012. Thus said, sweeping every county in Vermont. And so much for comparing Kamala Harris to Barack Obama. And we, out of the blue, was she a Barack Obama? Well, apparently her performance was absolute pure garbage. So I would say no. And looking at the results here, you'll see this county right here. It's called Orleans County. Now, Orleans County, to a point, is a swing county. It barely went to Joe Biden, 50.70%. And boy, it surprised us all to see Orleans County not only going to Trump barely, but it went to Trump by a point, over a point, 1 percentage point. And you'll see here, this is the history of Orleans County. We don't need to know the old history. But yes, we'll start off with 1964. In 1964, Orleans County was won by the Democratic Party incumbent President Lyndon B. Johnson, who became not only the first Democratic presidential candidate to win Orleans County, but to win the state of Vermont overall. Following Johnson's victory in 1964, the county returned to voting for Republican candidates for another 20 years, starting with Richard Nixon in 1968 and ending with George H.W. Bush in 1988. And George W. Bush won Orleans County in 2000, the only time the county would back a Republican between 1992 and 2000. Donald Trump narrowly lost the county by a margin of 26 votes in 2016. Interesting. Look at that. Very, very small margin. Trump would finally flip the county back to Republicans in 2024. So it's a very, very compatible county. And we normally don't think of Orleans County as this bellwether swing county. We really don't think of it that way. And instead, we kind of like to merge Orleans County right here with the rest of the counties right here. I mean, take a look at this county right here. That is Franklin County. And that was also a close county that Republicans almost ended up picking up. And taking a look here, let's take a look here. Vermont Election Atlas, Dave Leap's U.S. Election Atlas.org. Yeah. Actually, it was an intense, well, I wouldn't say it was an exact 2 point. It was an exact range of 2 points. Yes, this is, of course, Franklin County. You'll see Trump won these towns over here. Comparing that to 2020 in Franklin County. Let's see how that went. You'll see, yeah, it was the same results, but I guess there was more turnout in these towns over here in Vermont, if you will. But yes, huge overperformance compared to what we were saying Vermont was going to look like. What was Vermont supposed to look like in 2024? Well, polls said 70%! 70%! That was because of the Kamala Harris momentum. That was from the University of New Hampshire. It was in the margin of error. That's why we took this poll extremely seriously. 3.2% in the margin of error. And we were saying, you know what, if they're serious about Kamala Harris being a Barack Obama, which I didn't believe, but if they're serious and if it was going to put a dent in Vermont, then sure, I'll take that for granted. So you'll see here, they really highlight here Franklin County. They the black border donates a flip, in case you didn't know. That was a recent feature that Wikipedia decided to add into these maps when it comes to swing, that little black border here. And that represents the counties that have been flipped. And that, of course, was Orleans County. And yeah, a huge overall trend to the right compared to what we were saying on NSE. We were saying that it was going to be, every county was going to trend left by a lot, and we were absolutely not correct on that. So this is what we were saying in our poll here in NSE. So Harris initially was supposed to win every county, right? Well, the actual result was Trump didn't just pick up Essex County. That has been pretty. Let's see how Essex voted on Dave Weeps. Okay, Essex, 55.2%. Pretty good. It didn't swing to the right much than I had initially thought it would. But yes, Essex had gone Republican. It's a swing county. This county had went to Obama, and it improved its margin too. It by 55.89%. 2012, 55%, pretty big. And yeah, Trump won it decisively 2 times around. Now 3 times. You could make an argument saying this is a MAGA Republican. This is where the MAGA base is in Vermont. Even Vermont, I would say this is mainly a GOP base. I don't get this MAGA sense in the state of Vermont. I mean, it is definitely the Republican stronghold in that said state. But yeah, this is obviously Franklin County. Do you think Orleans County would trend more to the right and become in this case, blanking on the word here. Will it become a Essex County in the future? Obviously, I think it can. Honestly, we didn't know Orleans County was just this close on the radar till now. I mean, it makes sense now if you think about it, because you're in progressive Vermont during the Trump era. You would expect Orleans County to vote aggressively with its neighbors. Did it? No. Actually, it stayed in the under 5 percentage points in the said state of Vermont. Under 5 percentage points. So I would say very well, this county is actually very compatible here. You'll see a lot of blue towns, 63.5% for Trump in the town of Holland. Harrisburg, 67.1%, almost 70%. It's probably the most Republican in the town. You got Greensboro, 71% for Harris. So this is, of course, explains why the towns are so compatible. Let's go take a look at the 2024 presidential. No, let's see, 2020. No, this is 2016. Shoot, 2020. Okay, so we take a look at Orleans. I keep getting that mixed up, but yes, towns vote the same. But what we're seeing here is that the margins are different here. Yeah, you'll see Harrisburg, not 67 or 69% like we looked at last time. It was 60%. That did overall affect the outcome. Yeah, still in the 70% range. But yeah, honestly, it's good. I would say a surprise. I was not expecting I keep thinking this is Franklin County, but this is Orleans County. And thankfully, Orleans County, I did not see Orleans County on the radar. What I didn't see, what I kind of saw was Essex County. And people were telling me right here, Trump is absolutely winning Essex County. Saying this guy's telling me, yep, the poll is BS. Absolutely. Then again, I would say, yes, Essex County has a pretty good shot at going for Trump. Vermont is a lost cause. Sad. Well, I'll tell you, Vermont is trending to the right by aggressively. I don't think we'll ever win Vermont here. I don't think we'll ever win it. But we got to remember Vermont has always been a progressive state. It was one of the very first states to call out slavery, abolish slavery, and rightfully so. I'm not advocating for slavery, but it shows their motives. Like Rhode Island was the first. Vermont would probably be the second or something like that. It was definitely up in the upper numbers. Obviously, it showed huge support for women's suffrage. The women's suffrage movement back even in the early 1900s. It's a extremely progressive state. It's been the state with, I would say, the most pro-choice, pro-abortion state in the country. Some people say, oh, California is definitely the most pro-abortion state, but I'm saying Vermont. In fact, so many in the pro-abortion referendum, I don't think there's a page for it, unfortunately. But I can tell you, I believe the number there is over 70%. Is it proposal 20? Yeah, reproductive liberty amendment. Yes, you'll see even the county of Essex voted for that pro-abortion measure. And yeah, you'll see 80%, while in county-wise, the new results here, going back, our county map has 70%. These counties are going 80% in, along with Essex, actually crazy to think about. It's going 60% in for this measure. So this proves how progressive Vermont is, even when it comes to a very, very controversial issue about abortion, where a lot of people say, you know what, it's a woman's right to choose, or there's a good faction of the country that says, actually, no, it's not a woman's right or anyone's right to take a life, especially of an unborn child or a baby. But in Vermont, 76% of that population is confident that this is a woman's right to choose. You'll see even Republican Bill Scott, the governor of Vermont, is probably, of course, yeah, Vermont will vote Republican only if it's a progressive, and that's Phil Scott, definitely. He kind of has to endorse it because his job's at stake if he doesn't endorse it. But yeah, he was the only Republican to endorse it, this ballot measure. And that was mainly because he wanted to continue to be the governor, and you have to be progressive in order to be a Republican in Vermont. But this is how Vermont is, and the more progressive the candidate, the more progressive Vermont will be, but that was not the case in 2024, as clearly it went the other direction. I'm guessing more Vermontians were concerned about the economy more than, as of course, reproductive rights, quote unquote, would be considered a top issue in Vermont, as it was the biggest issue in 2022. But what do you guys think in regards to our analysis tonight? Let me know down below. And as always, I'll see you all in the next political episode.